Hi everybody, today we are making some beef protein noodles, a new version. I'm Anita from KetogenicWoman.com, where I share keto and carnivore recipes and other cooking ideas that have helped me to lose about 140 pounds. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you check out some of my other videos, and for those returning, welcome back, and I hope you like today's video. Okay, so today I'm going to make another version of protein noodles. I have made many protein noodles on YouTube already and on my website, and each of them have their own pros and cons. I wanted to make one that could be used on BBBE, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And for those of you who don't know what that is, because every time I mention it, there's at least one or two people who say, what is BBBE? I'm going to put a link down below to Dr. Barry's video that describes exactly what that is. It is basically beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And that combination is hard to do in a noodle because all of the recipes I've done before have dairy, and there's no dairy on BBBE. So this version has no dairy. It's made of beef. And it's very simple, 4 ingredients. So I'm going to go over those ingredients now as to what is in it. I'll also link my original protein noodle recipe down below. It's very popular. The only thing is it does have pork rinds. And so that is an objection that a lot of people have. I'm sure you could use the pork rinds on BBBE, but not the dairy part. So it has pork rinds and dairy, and today's version does not. So we're going to put in 4 eggs. There's going to be beef gelatin powder, and I just wanted to show you 2. This is Organica. We can get this in Canada at some of the drugstores. So for those of you who are Canadians, because I seem to be developing a Canadian following, I wanted to mention it. Okay, so that's, I think you can get this one off Amazon, Canadian Amazon as well. For everyone else, this beef gelatin powder is perfectly fine. I've used this one from Amazon, and there's several others. As long as the only ingredient is beef gelatin powder, which this one says, ingredients, pure beef gelatin. That is what you're looking for. So it doesn't really matter what the brand is. Just go ahead and, even on Amazon, you can zoom in on the ingredients and see what exactly it contains. So I'm going to use this today because this one's empty. I just wanted to save it to show you. Put that aside. So beef gelatin powder. I am also going to use some mayonnaise. Now, mayonnaise is the replacement for the dairy in the noodles. It's in 2 because I packed all my jars. I'm moving in 2 weeks, and I didn't have enough room to put this mayonnaise in, I didn't have a jar and had to divide the mayonnaise I made up into 2 containers. This is homemade mayonnaise. It is, you can use any mayonnaise that you have. If you're keto, maybe you're using an avocado oil mayonnaise or one of those other types of mayonnaises. That is perfectly fine. And if you're carnivore, maybe you're using bacon grease-based mayo. I used butter for this. The bacon mayo will work fine. You can make it out of duck fat. You can make it out of all kinds of things. This one's my favorite. This one is the one that I learned, the technique that I learned from Chris at Cooking Nashville. And he makes this great mayonnaise. I make it now all the time. Now, if you are strict dairy-free, you may want to make one of the other mayos because some people do consider butter to be dairy. I don't for myself. It doesn't do the same things that dairy do to me. I have no problems with butter. So use either butter mayo or another type of mayo, and that is dairy-free. So that's ingredient number 3. Ingredient number 4 is the flour. I'm using the Carnivore Crisp flour. You can make your own flour. There are some videos on YouTube where you can make your own meat flour, but I'm using this one because it is convenient for me. There's no way I have time right now to make my own beef flour. So I'm using this, and not very much for the pasta. So we're going to make it in the blender, spread it out on a sheet, just like the other pasta noodles, bake it in the oven, cut it up, and that's it. So before we do that part though, I need to mention that today's video is sponsored by Element. What is Element? It is a very delicious electrolyte drink that contains everything your body needs without any of the junk ingredients. Now that I have stopped drinking coffee, what I am doing is I'm taking my big venti cup, I'm putting in half a packet of the raw Element, a small wedge of lemon, and then I fill this up with boiling water. That is my coffee now in the morning, and I am liking it just fine. And then I drink a second one later to use up the other half of the pack. But you can do, you can put this in water, you can make electrolyte gummies out of them, put it in coffee, just drink it plain, whatever you like. It contains a science-backed formula of 1,000 milligrams sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. And right now, Element is offering this free sample pack to all of my viewers with any purchase from their website. It has all 8 of their regular flavors to try. You can share it with a friend, or you can figure out which flavor is your favorite. So to get the free sample pack, just go to their site, which is drinkelement.com/ketogenicwoman. That's DRINKLMNT/ketogenicwoman. The link will be provided below in the notes, and you'll see it on the screen. So thank you, Element, for sponsoring this video today. Okay, so let's get started with putting together our pasta batter. I am going to set the oven to 325 while we're doing this. There's our 4 eggs in there. I am going to take 2 scoops of the beef gelatin. Each of the scoops in here is 10 grams. And that would be the equivalent of 2 teaspoons per scoop. So it will be if you have a different container that doesn't come with a scoop, the recipe will be 4 teaspoons of beef gelatin. What I like to do, just to get the gelatin nice and mixed up, because it can get clumpy, is I like to give it a mix right away before I add the rest of these ingredients. See how it sort of clumps up right there at the top? So I'm going to just push that down. We want to get that incorporated nicely into the liquid eggs. And I'll just give it one more spin, and then we'll add in the rest. Okay, I am going to put in 2 tablespoons of this flour and, my mayonnaise. See if we have 2 tablespoons in here or not. I've been using the mayonnaise. It's really good on things like salmon and eggs. I love this stuff. And you can see how spreadable it is. Still, this has been in the fridge for 2 days now. I made this 2 days ago.
If we weren't on camera, I'd be licking out this jar. It's so good.
I need a little bit more. Okay, so now we're going to finish mixing the entire mixture. So then what I do is I just scrape down the sides just to get, because the gelatin, there are still, I can see a couple of little clumps here and there where it's thickened. And just stir the bottom, make sure everything is incorporated nicely. And then give it one last spin. If you're doing, meal prep or something and you want to make lots of these noodles, you can certainly do that. You can, make a double batch. I would probably do it in a bigger blender. This is perfectly fine size, like a Magic Bullet or something like that for this single recipe. Let's spread it on the pan. So what I have here is an 11 by 17 inch pan, which is about the right size for this particular recipe. Usually I use one with a lip around it. You've probably seen it in some of my past pasta videos, but it's packed. I cannot find it anywhere, so I can only assume it's already in a box. So just pour it out. It's a nice thick mixture. And then, you can kind of roll it back and forth. I just take my angled spatula here and spread it out. If it's too thick, you get these kind of thick, bulky noodles. So you don't want to do it too thin, because then they're hard to work with, but I just kind of coax them into a rectangle shape for easier cutting. This is a thicker recipe, as far as the batter goes, or whatever you want to call this. It is thicker than my other recipes, and so it does require just a little bit of help with the spreading. And that's because of the amount of gelatin that I used. But I found, like, the first couple of times that I tried this particular recipe, this new one, I found that the sheet cracked and did all kinds of weird things in the oven. And so I found that the extra gelatin, while it made it a lot thicker, it also made the whole thing work better, more uniform. Okay, so we have our sheet of pasta about to go in the oven, which I heard it is ready. And I am going to put it in. It's 325. It can take up to about 15 minutes. You should see the ends start to curl up from the silicone. So that brings up another question that I get asked a lot of times. Can I use parchment paper? The answer is yes. Your paper, though, will get quite wrinkly, but you're cutting it up anyway. So yeah, you could go with that if that's what you have. I do like this for ease of peeling off the sheet later. So let's go into the oven now. We'll see you in the next segment when those are finished and ready for cutting. Okay, so this took about 16 minutes in the oven at 325. So what I want to show you before I take it off the sheet is that what you're looking for is these edges that are starting to turn brown and lift up. That's when you know that it should be done. Now this recipe, the sheet gets a little puffy, so don't be fooled by that, because now it's perfectly flat. But when it first comes out of the oven, I guess some air gets underneath and it looks puffy. But as you can see, it's perfectly flat now. So I am now going to take this off. And, when it's lifting like that, you know that it should peel off. There we go. See, this is what I love about these mats. But don't pull too fast in case there's any parts that are sticking. But it basically should just peel off perfectly like this. Oh, one little part at the end here wants to stick. There's always a problem spot. Oh, there we go. That's okay. I lost a little hole. A little piece. Okay, so there's many options for cutting these noodles. If you saw my pasta cutter review video, I run these noodles through the noodle cutter that attaches to my KitchenAid. You can use one of those manual ones. I sort of revert to this most often because I can just pull it out of the drawer and it's handy. If you have none of the above, a knife is perfect. So I'll show you these two ways because my other equipment is packed for the move. So what you do is you roll it like a jelly roll. I'm going to show you the knife method first. It's the simplest. And then you just take your sharp knife and just, this allows you to cut as thin or as thick as you like. And there you go. You've got your noodles. Some people have told me, and I'll probably, I get that every time, that they use a pizza cutter. I have tried the pizza cutter. Yes, it's sharp enough. It goes crazy for me. I can't seem to cut in a straight line. So for me, this is easier. The way this one works is you have your flat sheet laying here, and you just pull this down like so, and then you have noodles. I like this one because they all look the same, whereas, this looks a little more hodgepodge. So I guess it depends on, if it's date night and you're trying to make a good impression, I'd go with these. But, either way works well. You can see this one tends to pull a bit, so you have to kind of hold it straight down, but it still works. But by far, the fastest way to do it, if you're in a pinch, is your knife method. So we'll go back to that. Now I'm going to make some thick pieces, because the other day when I made these, I had some really thick pieces. I'll show you in a minute what I mean by thick. So I had some really thick pieces like this, and I broke them up into smaller pieces, and I stuck them in the air fryer, and I made crispy chips out of them. Add some seasonings, some seasoning salt or something like that. So I'm going to do a part 2 of this video. I'm going to show you in the next video a pasta dish, a beef butter, bacon and egg friendly pasta dish, so no dairy in that. And I'll also save some of these to throw in the air fryer. Now the dogs also love these. They seem to recognize that it is all meat, and they hang around waiting to get one of these noodles. Okay, so those I will air fry in the next video, and for this one, actually I'm gonna make the proper nice ones. Let's pretend it's date night for our next video. I'm gonna make some attractive noodles for you. A nice pasta dish. I veered off a bit there, but that's okay. Oh, Pippi's gonna start crying if I don't give her a piece in a minute.
Don't cry, I'll give you a little piece.
We have noodles. And they actually, they actually taste good even just eating them like this, I think. The dogs think. But fry them crispy, air fry them crispy, bake them, put them in a pasta dish like I will in the next video, and they are delicious. So I hope you enjoyed this video and are inspired to make some very good keto carnivore pasta noodles. We'll see you guys on the next video. Oh, look who's excited about beef noodles. Wait, oh, beef noodles. Wait, easy, easy, easy. Okay, there you go. Oh, you wanted to try to get Teddy's? Easy. Pippi loves these noodles. Okay, that's it. That's enough. We have to save the rest for the next video, and then we'll give you some more, okay? I know you love them. I know you do.